food that is cooked in front of you is always the freshest, and I like to watch closely how it's made so I can replicate the flavours at home. So today what I'm doing is I'm making a chicken clay pot. It's kind of like a casserole. And this has got all of your typical flavours of Vietnam in there. You see these clay pots being prepared everywhere on the street. Often they just throw the clay pot over some hot coals and just let it bubble away slowly, and the smell that comes off them is just gorgeous. First thing I need is to grate some of this beautiful fresh ginger. I love fresh ginger. The smell of it when you first cut it open is just, it's really evocative of Vietnam. So I've got about a tablespoon there of my ginger, and you don't have to always stick to the recipe absolutely. It's sort of a little bit to taste, just use it as a bit of a guideline. Now with my chilies, what I'm doing here is if you roll them between your hands, then what happens is some of the seeds start to loosen up in there. It's really great, you can sort of hear them rattling around in there, so I always do that. It's the seeds really of a chilli and this inner white vein that kind of carries most of the heat in the larger chilies, and the larger the chilli, the less hot they are. Okay, and I need an onion. So now I'll just get all of this into my bowl. So I'm using a couple of fresh limes today. There's all my fresh ingredients. I've got my ginger in there, my chilies, my onions, and now this citrus going on in there. Beautiful. So I've got some lovely rice wine vinegar here, a couple of tablespoons of that, and some soy sauce. Pretty dark soy sauce I use for this particular dish. Now, in with my fish sauce. And here's some regular cooking oil as well. I'm just going to pop that in. So now, the magic ingredient. They use it such a lot in Vietnam and in other sort of Southeast Asian countries, and that is palm sugar, and I love it. You can find this in an Asian food store or in the international section of your local supermarket. And what it is it's actually coconut palm sugar, and they've boiled and rendered it down so that it's begun to caramelise, so it's just got this incredibly deep flavour. If you don't have it, you can use brown sugar as well. Just use slightly less than the recipe recommends for the palm sugar. So now what I've got in here is just all my flavourings that are going to just really start to excite that chicken. This is a really good dish for chicken breast because breast can be slightly dry. In this little clay pot, it's going to be like a little moist environment for it to cook in, so it's just perfect. And chicken breast is really healthy. Not a lot of fat in it, so it's a really good healthy dish. Great. Give that a nice stir. Make sure that that chicken is really well coated. I love my clay pot. You can pick them up at Asian food stores. They're not expensive, and they're really versatile little vessels to cook in. If you don't have one of these, you can use just a casserole dish or any dish that's covered in foil, just to keep that nice enclosed space. In we go. What I love about this is that there is no marinating required, because this is just going to slowly develop in the oven. And because of the closed environment, you've just got this little heat vessel which is going to really start letting those flavours develop hugely. So that's in there on a medium oven, 200 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to have that in there for about 45 minutes.
Hey, 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 take me off the heat. I don't know why. Give me, great big kiss on the lips. Take.
Rice is a really great match for this clay pot. It can really soak up all those delicious juices that come out of the chicken. Oh, so I've got a cup of rice. In it goes. And now I want 2 cups of water. And I start off always with cold water. Lid goes on. Once it's come to the boil, lift the lid off, give it a quick stir, and then put that lid on, turn it right down, and don't be tempted to lift it again. Just let it simmer until all that water has disappeared, and then turn the heat off and just let it sit and steam for an extra couple of minutes. And it really does depend on your stove a little bit in terms of how long it's going to take, but I'm going to guess at about 10 to 12 minutes for most of you anyway. So to dish this up, in Vietnam, they often have these beautiful big piles of your rice or your noodles, and what you tend to do is just add all these lovely, lovely herbs. So the two herbs that I'm going to use are coriander and Vietnamese mint. If you don't have the Vietnamese mint, that's fine, just go with coriander. Oh, I can start to smell some of that beautiful aroma. So let's have a look and see what this looks like. Oh, it looks so juicy and moist because it's been cooking in its little clay pot. And that is beautiful. There's this hit of ginger and chilli, and then it's chased up by the lovely sweetness of this palm sugar. That is divine.